Alex Van Pelt also met with media earlier this week. Talked about having multiple weapons for that receiving core in the passing game.
I feel like we've added great pieces. AB and the crew upstairs have given us some pieces, some more weapons. Being able to bring Posick back at that center spot, that was a huge lift for the coaching staff as well as the players to have that continuity up front. And then the experience and the level of play of that offensive line is really impressive. And then you add Nick to the mix in the backfield, and you get Deshaun out there on the edge with the pass catchers. It's positive. We've got a lot of work to do. We know that. We're not there yet. We'll still learn and grow, but excited about what the future could be.
And Ashley, we've talked about it a couple of times. Different skill sets. So the playbook is wide open for what they can do offensively.
Yeah, and I think we've gotten to see that even in the couple of OTA practices that we've gotten to watch. And, I've been saying, like, the four main new pass catchers the Browns have added so far, they all provide something a little bit different that the Browns didn't have last year. So you start with, like, Elijah Moore and Marquise Goodwin. They're the two speedsters that the Browns desperately needed last year, it felt like at times. They draft Cedric Tillman. He's suddenly the biggest guy in the receiver room. And yeah, DPJ had size, but he's even bigger than Donovan. And then you bring in Jordan Akins at tight end, who's a veteran guy, but he has that familiarity with Deshaun Watson that the Browns are trying to manufacture with these guys that were here already, or that they've brought in free agency, or that they've drafted. But he's a guy that we know already has that. So I definitely think things have just opened up. And again, with the caveat, we haven't seen Amari Cooper in these team drills yet, right? And I think that's a pretty big piece to be missing. But what's promising is when we were out there yesterday, we saw Deshaun connecting on the deep ball with these guys, especially Marquise Goodwin and Elijah Moore. And to me, that's huge because that speed element was just missing for them last season. We talked about it constantly and how they were going to address it, especially with Anthony Schwartz struggling his first couple of years in the league because he's a speedy guy too, who just hasn't really been able to rein the ball in and make those big catches. So I think what we've seen is promising. It's always the caveat. There's no contact in these practices. Guys aren't wearing pads. There's some big faces missing. The defense can't really do anything to stop an offense in OTAs. So it's like he's not getting that pressure he's going to get in the NFL. Like some of the big throws Deshaun made yesterday, like he had plenty of time to get set, make sure his feet were right. And they were really great throws. But the next step now becomes, okay, when we're out of OTAs, when we're allowed to have contact and kind of see what this looks like in an actual game setting, how is it going to look now? So there's a lot of work to still be done, but I think even with that and even with that tempering expectations and excitement around OTAs, they are still in a good place. Like it's better than the alternative, which is guys dropping passes and them not making downfield plays.